Alright guys, this is another weekend vlog. I'm just going to show you guys how I do an oil change. Now there's better ways to do an oil change, but this is how I was taught, so that's what I'm going to teach you. And sorry for the messy hair, I just kind of woke up an hour ago. It's my car. These are the ramps, and I would recommend, if you're new to this, which I'm pretty sure you are if you're watching this video, I would recommend that you buy the ramp instead of making it. Some people tend to make it, but these things are called chokes. These you put in the back of the car so that in the off chance that it does roll off, there's something to grab it. I would highly recommend that. There's the oil. This is the oil filter. Make sure you get the one that fits the right, that has the right size for your car. This is a funnel. It's not mandatory, but it sure makes putting the oil in the car a lot easier. These are the washers. Once again, make sure you find the right size for your car. These are the right size for my car. Whoops. Whoopsies. And get a socket wrench. And this is for the filter grabber, so you don't necessarily need this because you're not supposed to be tightening it super hard anyways, but for my car it's hard to reach, so it just makes it easier for me to reach it. And something to catch the old oil, so it's just something I got at like Walmart or something. It goes through there, you close this cap, make sure this is closed as well, and make sure this hole is open before you do it, because otherwise it's gonna explode up. So close it once you're done, but for now leave it open. Where does it go? Here it is. Get some newspapers, because when you're down there it can get messy at times. You know, not everyone's perfect, so yeah. And if you have gloves, maybe gloves will help too. I don't have any, so I'm just gonna use my hands, but I would recommend gloves. So I think that's about it, and let's get started. Now one thing I did want to say was, if you're in colder weather, you'd want to kind of leave the engine on for a little bit, so the viscosity of the oil gets, you know, it gets more liquidy. But once you turn on the engine, I would leave it off and not work on the car until about 5-10 minutes later, so the oil cools down a little bit. It gets really hot at first, so you want to be careful. So it's mounted now. I just need to put the choke on. Put the squiggly part like that. You know, by the handle. And that way, just to give you a visual, if this car ever rolls back, you're safer. So here's the engine oil. So this is where the engine oil is. So you get the socket wrench, take it out. That's where the engine oil is. And our oil filter's right there. Just if I could get in focus. There you go. So that blue thing. So you see how it's like this bar thing's in the way? So it's harder for me to get my hand in there and pop my head. That's the oil. So this is a type of oil. Viscosity is, for those that don't know, it's like, think about honey. If you put honey in the fridge and you try to run it down, it's gonna go very slow, because the cold, it affects the viscosity, the thickness. If you run it in a microwave for about 10 seconds and try to run it, it'll run down like water. So, tip of the day, viscosity is basically like the thickness of the liquid. 0W20 is for my car. Make sure you know what your car is before you work on it, and also know how much oil you need. Every car requires a different amount of oil. My car requires, I believe, 4 quarts. I'm gonna have to look it up. That's where it drains, so you wanna leave that open. When you release it, you gotta know that it's actually gonna shoot out like this. It doesn't just drip down. It's gonna be like a pump at first. So make sure you try to gauge accordingly. But I'm gonna try to do it right the first time. So let's see what happens. Okay, ladies and gents, while we wait for that oil to go down, I am going inside. This is not my house, by the way. This is my parents' house. I use their house because there's more room for me to do the oil change. But sneaking in, and I'm about to make me some coffee. So coffee while we wait. Coffee. Strong. I'll show you guys the rest of the oil change. I'm gonna get that and close it. And then get that and close it. The reason why we have a washer, this little ring thing, that kind of seals the any kind of holes or anything that can escape so that no oil leaks. So make sure you get a new crush washer every time you do an oil change. And I got the washer with it. So twist it as tight as you can with your hand first. And you don't want to make it too tight, but tight enough to where it doesn't leak. So I'm gonna put a little bit in here and pour some. So I filled it up. And you're gonna get a pinch of oil and just kind of rub it around. Like I said, it's right there, if you can see it. The filter, the blue thing. Okay, yeah, just let the oil drain as much as possible. Make sure you have one of these. What I like to do is I like to kind of wash around the opening and kind of wipe down everywhere. And this is the new filter. This is the one that I filled up and I coated the edges, the rubber gasket, with some new oil and go in the same way it came out. So close it all the way and make it as tight as you can with your hand. And I just turn it like maybe like 20 degrees, not even, with this, just to get the extra tightening. But you don't want to over tighten it because you can ruin the seal. Just stick it in there. Tiny bit more. Okay, so now we're at about 4.5. So now get this, close it up again. Since I got about half a quart left, I like to save that for next time. So, you know, eventually, if you have enough half quarts, you'll eventually make 4.5. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is the dipstick. It's located right here. And if you take it out, you see that there are levels of oil, see right here. So usually when you haven't done an oil change in a while, it's usually either really dark, which means the oil's been burnt, or it's just totally dry. And if it's totally dry, you're in a dangerous situation. But as you can see, the oil is pretty clean and there's a lot of it, so that's a good sign. If you have like a local, where is that, AutoZone or someplace like that, you can actually dispose of it. This is where my old oil goes, so I'm going to probably dispose that into this and then take this to AutoZone for them to dispose of it. Close the hood. Now before I drive off, what I like to do is check underneath and check for anything that leaks. Is this maintenance info? Yes, so right here, see, you go to reset. It says has been reset. So if you look here, oil is 100%. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you learned something. See you guys.